Previously, in Doraken. The Hounds of War managed to convince the dwarven bounty hunter, Karlgrim Stouthammer, that he was the champion of Myra and that they needed his help to combat the Witch Queen and her armies. The dwarf agreed to join the heroes, if they in return assisted him with the protection of Runedale by retrieving the Great Guardian, a construct built by Karlgrim's ancestors not long after the Holy War 3,000 years ago. The heroes agreed, and so they decided to enter the extinct volcano Mount Vertex, as Karlgrim had managed to piece clues together that stated that this was the last known location of the Great Guardian. Larry and Nara spent the rest of the day boosting the morale of Runedale's soldiers, whereas Ears and Jace decided to infiltrate the nearby enemy camp and assassinate a Doraken tactician. The very next day, the heroes boarded the Skynomad and flew to Mount Vertex. Inside the volcano, the heroes and Karlgrim witnessed a pack of kobolds worship what turned out to be the bone of a red dragon. But with the aid of some illusions, the heroes avoided combat by scaring the kobolds further inside for fear of a cave-in. Later, the heroes entered a seemingly empty room, only for hidden runes and images to glow as Karlgrim walked past the walls. They showed the story of the Holy War, where the Alliance built the Shapen, Golems, Warforged, Homunculi, etc. to combat the Savage Legion, the ancestors of the Doraken nation. Further inside, the heroes encountered the skeletal remains of the red dragon that the kobolds had worshipped, its skull caved in from a blunt instrument. Further investigation later on revealed that this was caused by a fire giant that had succumbed and died from the wounds it suffered during the battle with the dragon. The heroes later nearly fell victim to traps placed by the kobolds, which included falling stalactites and sudden pitfalls. While Jace was scrapped mere moments before falling into one of these set pits, he heard distant voices speak with a dialect. Underdark dialect it turned out to be, as a group of drow assassins and a single Drider had managed to locate the entrance to the vault containing the Great Guardian. They were however blocked by a searing hot metal door that refused to budge. Combat ensued, and the drow and the Drider were slain, with the exception of a warrior named Malik, whom the Hounds decided to spare. Upon the victory, Karlgrim walked towards the iron door and placed his hand on the searing metal. As his flesh began to sizzle, the door opened and revealed a massive and rotund figure beyond. Eddawoe. With a deep hollow metallic moan, the construct agreed to assist Karlgrim, and both the dwarf and the Hounds of War were placed on its massive shoulder. Once all the heroes were clinging to its metal frame, Eddawoe ascended the sealed caldera and punched its way out, sending rocks and boulders flying as it left the vault behind. A quick side note. While Jace, Darry, Ears, Naris and Karlgrim delved into the cave of Mount Vertex, Blake and Aurora stayed behind on the Skynomad along with his crew. After an hour or so, Casimir appeared on the ship, having teleported from Evergale. He proceeded to inform the heroes that he and the majority of Delta Base resistance had relocated to the outskirts of Evergale in order to join the remnant armies of the Draconian Empire. When Eddawoe emerged from the top of the volcano, Casimir cast fly on himself, Aurora and Blake, allowing them to fly towards the giant construct and land on his shoulder, joining the rest of the party. Now, let us continue the story. We see the Doraken forces outside of Runedale prepare the next and final assault against the city. Riders ascend the walk steed. Siege weapons are loaded and aimed. Soldiers join the rank and file. And yet, all comes to a grinding halt when the Doraken army notice the first vibrations. Tankards and tables jump and spill the content. The wargs growl and cower and veer. And all scouts return to camp with the same news.
It's here.
From the east, a dark, rotund figure silhouetted by the rising sun emerged like a ship riding the waves of the storm. Glowing orange eyes leave behind a fading trail of light as an impressive figure moves with a speed that belies its size and shape. And as the figure moves its arm to gain more momentum, it produces a long, sorrowful deep moan akin to a wail. And the song of the metal giant is immediately accompanied by a laughing dwarf that bellows, "Aye, laddie, time to bring an end to this endless war." Riding on the shoulders of the great guardian Eddawoe, we see the Hounds of War and Karlgrim stout hammer notice an indent form around the base of Eddawoe's head. It appears to be a 5-foot wide door, however it doesn't open. Rather, it produces a whirring sound as the mechanism meant to open the door is unable to perform its task. You see Karlgrim look slightly up as Eddawoe produces another metallic moan. It says we need to get inside. And quick.
Lucky, can you hack it?
Blake, try to roll an investigation check. You can remove the armored...
Take your hacking tools.
Yeah.
Right. You say, yeah, an investigation check.
Aye.
Alright, let's hack that door. It's gonna be tough. That's 26.
26, cool. You gather there are 3 means of getting inside. You could try to brute force your way in, which you gather is...
That's not gonna happen.
Actually, you think that might be the easiest solution. However, you do think that the door itself would be broken and unable to lock again afterwards. You can try to pick the mechanism, giving you slightly more leeway inside, but it will come with a penalty in terms of transition between the exterior and the interior. Or you can try to supercharge or overload the mechanism, essentially channeling into the rune magic that is powering Eddawoe, which will be probably the most difficult, but give the best result.
If you need 4, he could dimension door in.
Certainly, but he and only
I
one
don't know
other
how
person.
dimension door works. I just assume that.
Sorry, ES champion of Discard here. Why? What is inside the head?
You don't know yet.
Do we?
You can. The only thing you've been told.
Do you know what's in it?
He just says we need to get inside.
Who said it? Him?
Eddawoe.
Oh, okay. What? Can he then open the door? Eddawoe!
That's what he just tried to do.
I think it's jammed. I think also we want to get inside because I think this thing might want to walk through the wall and we're gonna fall right.
Yeah.
But I mean, falling damage is a hell of a thing.
You're saying that we can try to like strength our way through, lockpick our way through, or magic our way through.
Yes.
We get a feeling that
Essentially,
that they're mutually exclusive. Like say if you said if we straight our way through, then we broke the mechanism. So I'm kind of assuming that we can't use the other ways. But if we try to lockpick, can we then also strengthen that?
So if lockpicking fails, could we then also at the same time?
For instance, I'm perfectly fine. For instance, that you, for instance, one tries to Arcana, one tries to lockpick, and the last one tries to Athletic, and we then take the result from the best.
I mean, I could.
What would Eddawoe prefer? Karlgrim. Because we're
Again, he just said we need to get inside and quick.
Right.
Is there maybe another door? Like, can we go through his eye? Is that a window? Is the eye a window?
Let's shoot with the soul.
To the soul of this thing, person.
The soul is a window, however, but it's sort of hard to get at.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So should I try lockpicking then?
Yeah, do it.
Right.
I can't see what harm it would do.
Okay,
cool.
Very well. Make a Thieves tool check then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's dexterity plus your proficiency modifier.
Ruh-roh. Are you a good lockpicker or is that Aurora?
Aurora is pretty decent.
I thought it was that hand. It is not. Ooh.
Is it good?
It's 1. So.
Alright, but you have expertise and shit, right?
I have.
Make a dex save.
Don't you have reliable talent or some bullshit?
Oh yeah. So it is.
But are you proficient with?
I am proficient.
Okay, cool. Then it's automatically
a dirty criminal.
Always only if you have expertise that can.
No,
proficient.
Anything you're proficient.
Yeah, so that's going to be a total of.
It's going to be a total of 18. So that's not bad.
Not enough.
That is literally the best thing I can get for
try to gain access to the mechanism itself, but you just can't reach it, and the door remains locked.
Should I try to
Oh, it's this push. Right. Yes, try to.
Yeah, brute force your way in.
We can just put up a wall inside, can we? You're magic boys.
Do we need a wall inside?
If we break the door, then we can't close the door. Then we can just seal it from the inside, can't we?
Why do we need to close the door?
Because assumingly something's gonna try to come in and kill us.
Among us?
That would probably be Aurora, I guess.
But if we can get through the door, then...
Karlgrim is gonna assist you.
Okay, cool. Because we're just...
Again, two burly short guys, yeah.
Very short guy.
Give me a mileage?
What?
Does that give me advantage?
Yeah.
I like to help you magically.
Burly.
Magic of friendship, that's all I got.
And the first two.
Yep. I believe in you.
Why did I do that?
I'm trusting in Scarlet.
So chunky. That's the chunky voice.
If you
27.
27. You and Karlgrim start to push the door because you can't actually move it along. You have to push it in, and and it's like like tin starts to warp when you give it enough pressure.
Yeah.
Same happens here. It's essentially like causing it to tear open.
This definitely seems like the right way to do this.
Well, there's your problem.
Right?
Right. So
Yes, so
let's
you can
get
remove the
on
plate.
But it says do not move!
But we are allowed to.
Yeah. Now
Are
we are.
we? Is it a trick? Oh, it's not a trick. No, it feels like a trick. That's scary.
So, inside of Eddawoe's head, you see a dome-shaped room about 50 by 50 feet. At the back of the room, there's a control panel with several buttons and displays, which Karlgrim immediately rushes towards and puts on what appears to be a helmet and a pair of gauntlets connected to the control panel with cables. At the other end of the room, you see a white screen with a shiny silvery surface. And between the two, you see what seems to be an inactive magic circle with runes carved into the floor.
That's the screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Inactive magic circle.
Yes.
Cool.
That was somehow.
See, now
Yeah,
Eddawoe was kind of looking up.
No, again, I realized
horrifying.
the moment after I finished drawing it.
Horrifically.
Is there another set of gauntlets?
No,
It's not a Jaeger situation.
No, not yet at least.
We got a drift? No, what's it called? We got a mind melt drift?
Yeah.
It is drift.
Yeah.
Yes, Karlgrim says as you start to take on this equipment. Alright, we need to activate the circle.
I guess are we all going in?
Yeah, I imagine so. So now
Okay,
we're
get out of
gonna have a skill challenge.
That's me.
This works in the particular way that each of you can attempt a task. One person can only do one task at a time. You can still use the same skill proficiencies. For instance, two people make Sakana, but they do it in different ways. And you cannot use the help action. You cannot grant advantage to each other.
Alright.
Right. Furthermore, the last, you need to have 5 successes before 3 failures. If you do not succeed in that, you will not have the best outcome.
This thing will explode.
I have a couple of suggestions here at the ready. You're also perfectly able to come up with your own solutions.
So it's a circle. It's a magic rune circle.
Yeah.
Can I decipher them in any way? Like, I know something about rune circles.
You can try to translate it with a history check. You can try to empower it with an arcana check.
But knowing what it kind of does.
Yeah.
That would be history.
Yeah, I'm going to say history because you need to translate the runes then.
Arcane history.
I can try to do that. I also have, wait a second, I have the Eyes of the Runekeeper feature, so I can technically read any language.
There's a specific.
For that, I'm going to give you 1 automatic success.
I think I can also.
What does it say, Jace?
Yeah, you have the guild
Do
master.
you pay too much for your golem insurance?
It has ads. What is happening? But I guess I could magic. I could try to sort of activate it by magic.
Yeah.
Just magic the hit.
Then make an arcana check.
I would like to magic.
So you touch it?
You have already 1 success.
I just kind of sort of. I don't know, whatever. I guess. 19?
Oh, but you have reliable talent.
No, I do not.
Another success.
Cause you made.
I banish you to hell.
Cause you made a rogue.
With the assistance of Jace explaining what each of the runes means, so forth, you start to channel some of your own magic into it. Rune magic is essentially based around what is called the words of creation, and the god of magic, Rukar, actually created what would be a simile or something akin to rune magic, and that's how arcane magic works. Yes, Davin?
So I'm not really certain I understand the situation here, but I'm certain Davin does because he has better see things. Can you start to like try to organize people and organize like get a situation?
Yeah, again, you start to issue orders and start to move around. Make an, let's say, a military check.
Military?
Yeah, I will allow you to use charisma instead of.
And I'm proficient at that because I have my.
So proficient bonus and your charisma modifier.
Oh, is Anastasia in here with us?
No, I haven't called her yet.
Oh. And also,
that is a 20.
20. Another success. People know what they're about to do, but you order them in such a way that they don't accidentally block each other. So.
Yeah, I just try to organize it.
You got people.
Yes. Aris, any idea of what you want to attempt?
No idea.
It's not meant to cheat, right?
I'm gonna say you have the mending cantrip, right? I'm gonna say you can make a spell attack check, essentially, to repair any disrepair that might be within the room.
Alright. So that would be
24.
24, another success. You're only one success away from succeeding.
Who else is there?
Then we have Jace. Jace. Sorry, it's Blake. Blake is the only.
Right.
You can, for instance, go over to the control plan and try to make an investigation check to see if you can assist Karlgrim in actually.
I do that. 31.
31. Yeah.
Not good enough.
Everything starts to come up.
I gotta go with it. Yeah, but I played this when I was a child.
Essentially, like, have you tried turning it on and off again?
Well, that is appropriate.
But again, there's essentially, these caps, but switches, like, where you have to remove the cap.
I put on some sick tunes.
Yeah.
Really, that would be your sick tune situation? Wouldn't be like Thunderstruck or something by AC/DC when they're riding in on the... No?
Nope, it's a Rasputin.
Just such a band. Is it because are we getting Eddawoe to do that dance?
Yeah.
Over the camp, like...
hvis du kommer ind, og du laver en war dance, så gør jeg på det samme.
As you're activated, you start to hear this song inside. Yes, so once you complete the magic circle, you see that the silvery screen is suddenly covered by an ever-changing vista. And you quickly realize that this is what Eddawoe is currently watching, as it's the same scenery, essentially, as it runs towards Runedale. While this happens, you hear a slight distorted female voice stating,
Master Operative System online. Visual Illusion Display online. Rune Core online. Initiating Magical Interfacing Matrix Imitation Control Module. Please hold.
And as the voice speaks, you see written on the screen, initiating MIC mode, or mimic mode.
Please hold.
And as the voice falls silent, the text is replaced.
Mimic Module online. Please enter circle to assume control.
I think you were actually right there.
I would like to go around and check everything in the room to see if it's a mimic. No, I want to check everything. Like, is
okay? First and foremost,
where is this mimic hiding?
Roll an initiative.
That's not what's happening.
So, because I guess my question is, because we're obviously we understand this through sort of cultural references, right? But would I carry how wild is this?
I wouldn't.
It seems pretty wild.
Yeah, it is. Again, right now you're just okay. I guess this works. Cool. What happened?
I mean, it is also a super weapon that probably the only one of its kind in the world. So, I mean.
Yeah. But I think if me, Alistair, came into that situation, I'd be like, oh, okay, I get a new move, I get another thing, blah, blah. But I don't think Eos would understand that.
I'm going to say with Jace's translation of the runes, you can essentially gather that standing in the circle would essentially allow you to engage with the consciousness of Eddawoe. So essentially become a pilot.
You can do his dance.
You nailed it, Maris. I don't think that should be me though.
Right.
Oh.
That's an 11.
11.
Yes.
I'm fast, yeah.
Yes, and
16.
16 for Alistair.
Initiative.
Yeah,
8.
8.
8.
I got 16, but better than Alistair.
I like it.
Really?
How?
You have better decks than
No.
You got a better 16.
That's fair.
So someone roll for Aurora?
I'll just do that. She rolled a 3 on the die, so. And then Casimir is also present. He rolled a 2. And Eddawoe rolled a total of 5, so.
Now I believe that Aurora has 20 decks.
Yeah.
So that would put her at 8. Technically putting her ahead of both the other stuff. If we're being kind of dicks about it.
No,
We should be.
Cool.
Right. Oh, I didn't make it. Oh, right.
So allow me to tell you exactly how this is going to work. As you can see on the battle map, I've divided it up to 2. You have the top down view of Eddawoe and its shoulder. And then we have Eddawoe in full size on the other side here. And what the enemies you can see on the battle map are actually giants and ogres and so forth that have cast essentially a modified version of enlarged spell. So they are like a head shorter than Eddawoe itself. In terms of mimic mode, the way it works that if you stand inside the circle, you can use an action to activate it. When you do that, Eddawoe immediately gets an extra turn after your turn. When that happens, Eddawoe will gain all of your stats and abilities and so forth, with the exception of hit points. That remains its own.
Okay.
As you can also see, the limited space, only up to 4 characters at a time can stand in the circle. Furthermore, I'm also, because once again, the pretty good history and magic checks there, you know that this will be rather tasking on both body and mind. It's not so bad, for instance, if you use one turn to do the mimic mode, use another turn to do something else, and then once again, that's fine. Then you can essentially cool down. There will be some penalties if you do it on 2 subsequent turns. How harsh that is, you don't know. Finally, Eddawoe, when it's your turn, can cast concentration spells. You yourself keep the concentration. So, for instance, you can stack concentration spells on Eddawoe if you want to. However, I'm going to alter it slightly that in case either Eddawoe or you take damage, then you need to make a concentration check.
Okay.
I'm assuming Eddawoe cannot sneak attack.
Unless somebody casts Fairy Fire, then...
Yeah, what if he has advantage?
But I'm assuming he doesn't attack with finesse weapons.
Oh, that's good.
Well, it does, again, when it's mimic mode, then it is your weapon essentially you're using.
But can we use the mimic mode to make it look like a giant treasure chest?
See, now that's my... Okay.
Yeah, if you transform into a treasure chest.
Wooden horse, sorry.
And while all of this information is... Yeah?
So we have kind of a heads-up display where we can see what Eddawoe's seeing, right? Can we see... So of course we can see these big 5 fuckers. Is there anyone else we can see?
Again, you can see vast armies on both sides and so forth, but they are not so much your problem.
No. So it doesn't seem there's anyone who's going to be coming for us.
No, again, the 5 enlarged giants, they are probably going to face you.
Yeah.
They were previously trying to break down the city walls, but now they're just...
Trying?
Well, they succeeded at one point.
I mean, okay.
And because you succeeded on your success, you know that Karlgrim, or rather Eddawoe and then Karlgrim, warns you that flying enemies are approaching. So you have 1 round to set up everything before they actually enter combat.
Great.
So,
Okay, are we assuming that the flying enemies can only get to us if it gets through the door?
You gather as much.
Okay, I can deal with flying enemies.
I mean, if it's just a matter of keeping the flying enemies out, I have a force cage.
Right.
What? Force cage, like a literal cage that works for an hour.
But on us?
Just on the door.
I guess will that work?
I don't know what it was.
Doesn't it need a creature to force cage around? Is that the difference between force wall and force cage?
I think so.
It is I could be wrong.
I'll just
yeah. Because
otherwise I can just cast Wall of Fire.
Or yeah,
On the door.
that would, or wall of stone maybe.
I have one.
You have wall of fire. That's perfect.
And
It would also
while
be a
this is
wall.
a cube-shaped prison composed of magical force springs into existence around an area you choose within range.
All right.
The prison can be a cage or a solid box as you choose.
Okay, you can do that. But maybe save your. I guess some of us with more spells. There's a lot of spell slottage for you when we can do.
Spell slot. I can put up the rose. Well, we could just prop up the door. I have an immovable rod. We
I think that's okay.
So,
But if only.
The door's like
yeah, again, it's teared open.
But wouldn't that just rip through the...
Oh
yeah.
Right, yeah, that'll just keep...
It's a good break. Okay, but now, if only 4 of us can be in the circle at a time, do we want then some of us to be on the shoulder, fighting from there?
Why don't I go up?
I was thinking you were the fighting man for the...
So that's a good point. You would be the best at just kind of kicking ass with Eddawoe.
Yeah.
And I can do that too, I guess. Yeah. So you're saying that based on what Jason's translated, the longer we stay in the circle, the harder it's going to be. Is it harder to control, or is it just more tasking on us?
It will be more tasking on you.
Yeah. So to put it in game terms, we might lose hit points, but we wouldn't be worse.
Maybe not. You don't know how it's gonna affect you.
But
you just know it's gonna be the more time you stay in the circle, the more steep the penalty is.
Okay.
Alright, okay. How about this plan? Aurora and I go out on the shoulder with Anastasia's help. And we will deal with whatever's out there while the 4 of you run the Eddawoe game together.
I'm in, Casimir says.
Oh yeah, sorry, Casimir. I remember that you were here.
What is
What Casimir is? Cool.
What?
What type of magic does Casimir do?
Lightning and thunder. He's a sorcerer.
So evocation.
Maybe you should come out with.
But like, so when we're standing in the circle, can we only make it do like attacks based on our stats and such? We can't like make.
Essentially, imagine that it's your turn again, but it's Eddawoe.
So 4 people can be in it, and then they would each get a turn as Eddawoe.
So, yeah, for instance, Eddawoe, when you've engaged Mimic Mode, it will retain all your stats until the start of your next turn, or until somebody else activates Mimic Mode.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Alright, but I'm just wondering about what actions we can perform as Eddawoe.
Everything you can do, Eddawoe can do.
Also spells.
Yeah?
Okay.
So does Eddawoe get for every person who activates the circle? Does Eddawoe get a turn?
Yeah. After you have ended your turn, Eddawoe immediately gets an extra turn after you.
That's the thing. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, our turn becomes another turn for Eddawoe.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can give him 5 turns.
Because right now it's 1 versus 5, but if you engage it, then it can become 5 versus 5. For instance.
Okay. Well, okay. So let's divide this up then. So we definitely want Jace in circle, right?
Oh yeah.
That will give you sneak attack.
But I can also cast fairy.
I would give us all sneak attack.
Do both.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm saying that the 2 twins are going to be outside.
People make you.
Yeah, and Casimir.
Harder to hit you as well.
This
Casimir is the one just a square.
He's a square that says Casimir. He's
a square.
That was just Jace unless he had forgotten his figure.
Casimir.
Yeah, cool.
And then
Aurora and I go out, and we'll keep the door closed.
who's this?
That's Naris.
Sorry, there's Naris.
There's. Where are you?
I think Naris should get in the circle.
How does it work if you wild shape then?
Well, you can find out.
Let's find out together.
Is this going to be Transformers?
Yes.
Should I be inside or outside?
I think you should help them
So if I
fight
turn myself into a reef shark,
Yes.
because I mean you could smite him, and ride him, and fight him.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes, so in terms of rounds, we start with first round.
As my action on this kind of prep turn thing.
And again, it's gonna get your turn soon. Right,
we-
right now you are.
We had like a prep turn, right?
Yeah, before the boarding party
Well, we couldn't
arrives.
maybe cast
Right now, this is again. I've allowed you to arrange you so as you want, and now you get.
That's fair enough. I guess we did a lot of things because I would happily cast a few spells as well. But there you go.
did we know if leaving the circle will break concentration on...
No, again, you maintain concentration as if you're casted on yourself or another creature.
Okay.
The only difference is either if Eddawoe or you get attacked, You need to maintain a concentration
Even if
check.
you're no longer in the circle.
That's true.
Okay.
Because you're maintaining the spell.
This is fair. I think I get it.
Right.
Minigame.
Let's go.
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 And I of course call out Sasha.
I can only assume that, like, holy shit.
That is so fucking big.
I can only assume that the link between Arthur and me does not also apply to.
It does while Eddawoe is mimicking you.
Okay, so does that also mean it gets magic resistance?
Yeah.
Okay.
You and Aurora can both fly, right?
Attention.
Aurora still has the fly spell cast on her by Casimir.
Okay.
So do I then have the flash spell?
Yeah.
Cast on me?
Right now, again, I can. How fast?
We imagine all this, but you've been flying the entire time. It's not.
So again, it's 10 minutes. You have it. I'm gonna say you have about 1 minute left before fly ends.
Okay. Wait.
What, 1 minute?
Yeah, because it takes it's the last 10 minutes, and again they have to fly from the Skydomat.
Sorry. 1 minute fly left. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. Cool.
exactly.
As long as Casimir.
Yeah, if you can just put a circle around him on Casimir.
Okay, so.
Actually, no, because let's have Casimir on the ground right down here.
Yeah.
And Aurora can fly. This one's Aurora.
Aurora also has the fly spell. If anyone should be on there, I will do it, but I will do it on my own.
Yeah.
I can sort of work with.
Yes.
Old.
Well, regarding that, yes, it's your turn.
Okay, so we go outside. What do we see?
Right. Make a perception check.
No, I'm bad at them. Actually, I wasn't too bad. 15.
15. Right now, you can see what appears to be 5 figures approaching you rather faster.
5 figures. 5 figures of what?
That you don't see right now.
They're
They're too far away right now.
All right. Can I sort of see? Are they winged?
No, these are clearly
M's?
these are clearly creatures that has been cast flying.
Okay, they're just kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Eos, what was your tiefling noise eating?
Don't worry about it. Okay, do I get a sense of how long it will be before these peeps?
Again, they are flying exceedingly fast. So again, at some point in the next round,
cool,
that's going to be when they arrive.
I will. Oh, what will I do? Fuck. I guess.
Okay. Oh wait, you're on the shoulder. Can you can't? No, I for that.
Yeah, let's. I think right now I'll focus.
It was just if you had some sort of fairy fire or something like that, then sneak attack business from me.
But then, why don't you just hold your turn until fire
let's
is
just
active?
move the shit around then.
Can't you just hold your turn until fairy fire is active?
Yeah, I'm going to activate.
Yeah. Why don't we say that Jace and I switch places?
Yeah.
Jace!
Yes. Nice. With your chief of command.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, sorry. I will. What the fuck will I do? Should we wall of force you guys inside? But then if it moves, will that? Oh, I don't know if the wall of force is going to stay on it or if it stays put.
I believe it stays mobile, so it will
because that will crush all of you. Or
I mean, yeah, you just
make the head explode?
You just kill whatever comes near us. It's fine.
We can. If anything makes it through, then either I or Karlgrim will take care of them.
Okay, fine. Okay, fine. What I will do.
Actually, Karlgrim cannot assist you right now. He's manning
okay,
the whole.
Cool. Then I will take care of the
okay. I will go. Actually, I'll stand in the door and I'll cast mirror image on myself.
Cool.
Hello. And I will also go into my dance.
Yes.
That's my bonus section.
Yes, Herzog.
Yes. Cool. Anything else you want to do?
No, that's the end of my turn.
Very well. Jace. Oh, Sir Jace.
Yeah, so I think maybe just greater invisibility so we can do some sneak attack or something. I don't know.
So you're gonna activate Mimic Mode then?
Yes, okay, so that's an action.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
Okay. Then.
So what happens essentially is that these glaciers almost form around Woe's feet, just and its shoulder. You also hear the sound of water rapidly start to freeze as even the molecules around you start to be cooled down, and Eddawoe's eyes just start to gleam this crystal white, just.
Nice.
This shit out.
Yeah, and I then So can I still, if that's my action, can I still
Again,
cast
that's your action now. Eddawoe gets an additional
okay,
turn.
okay.
So yeah, you can cast.
So that's technically the end of my turn, then Eddawoe's turn
Yeah.
starts,
Yeah.
and then I cast Greater Invisibility on myself.
Cool. There comes this shimmer in front of it, and then it's just gone. Just put a concentration check on, circle on Jace. Yikes.
How big? How far is? How far can he move?
Eddawoe has 30 feet essentially on the battlefield.
So should I just move him up like behind the number 8?
Yeah. Cool. You rush up behind what appears to be an enlarged troll.
You should get that up there.
I was gonna say.
Then it's the big bad guy's turn. Thanks for listening. The intro music was by Fischer, whereas the outro music was by Martin Kerr. The other pieces which are mentioned in the description down below were by Kevin MacLeod and Enda Genye. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we hope to see you again in Doraken.